Part 19. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 181. Chapter 181. He doesn't love you at all. For several days in a row, all the children of the richest chaebols in the school were rushed to the hospital by Yang Zizi and fell unconscious. Just a few days after entering school, Yang Zizi became the school bully. He stayed away from anyone who saw him, for fear that he would end up in the hospital for no reason. Both female and male students immediately ran away with fear on their faces when they saw Yang Zizi on campus. Yang Zizi doesn't think so. One day, on my way home from school, I didn't know why, but for no reason I ended up at my old high school. She stopped at the door. She seemed to see a sports car. There was a boy and a girl in the sports car. They looked at each other and smiled, as if they were the happiest people in the world because they had each other. Her tears fell silently again. It is time for school to end, and the school door is closed. She easily climbed over the wall and entered the campus. She walked through the parking lot, through the classroom, and to Lun Zhenqi's office. The memories were quickly played in her mind over and over again. Finally, she involuntarily walked to the hill behind the school, an extremely dangerous place. But she was not afraid at all, because in this world, the only thing that scared him was the heart of a prosperous person. Suddenly, a pair of huge black wings flew over from a distance. Yang Zizi was shocked. The prosperous age of Lun. She ran towards him like crazy, and it wasn't until the opponent landed that she saw clearly that it was Gui Kale. Her disappointed eyes suddenly lost their light. Yang Zizi, I didn't expect to meet you here. Gui Kale folded his wings and looked at Yang Zizi sarcastically. Yang Zizi suddenly thought of something, grabbed her, and asked loudly, "Where is Lun Zhenqi? Tell me quickly, where is Lun Zhenqi? She is also a vampire, she must know where Lun Zhenqi has gone." "Are you crazy? How could I know where brother Zhenqi is?" Gui Kale pushed her away with a look of disgust, then said proudly, "Even if I knew, I couldn't tell you." Yang Zizi sneered, "Then I'll beat you until you say it." When she was about to take action, Gui Kale suddenly said, "Don't you think that brother Zhenqi likes you?" Ha 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 dash. Gui Kale laughed as if he had heard an extremely ridiculous joke. "Yang Zizi, don't be too stupid. Brother Zhenqi doesn't like you at all. He's just hanging out with you. I didn't expect you humans to be so easy to deceive." How could Yang Zizi believe her lies? "Impossible, his eyes can't deceive me," Yang Zizi said loudly. "This has always been just your own wishful thinking. Brother Zhenqi doesn't love you at all. He told me personally. He told me that human beings are indeed stupider than he imagined. He was deceived without any effort." Gui Kale looked at him proudly, still unfinished, ready to continue talking. Yang Zizi suddenly yelled, "Stop talking, this is impossible. I believe that Lun Zhenqi must love me." Ghost Kale sneered and whispered, "You are indeed a stupid human being. You tell me where he is, and you want him to tell me personally, otherwise I won't believe it. You will never see him again in this life, because he is already with me. If you don't believe it, I will show you." Gui Kale raised the corners of his mouth, stepped forward, held her hand, and let her go with his mind. She was able to see what she was seeing. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 182. Chapter 182. Falling into the wolf's den. In the picture, Lun Zhenqi and Gui Kale are particularly close, and the two people get along extremely sweetly. Yang Zizi immediately pulled out his hand and backed away in disbelief. How could this be possible? She kept telling herself not to believe it, it was impossible, but what he just saw was real and he couldn't believe it. Yang Zizi sneered, "Why do you want to humiliate yourself and deceive yourself and others? Turns out it was all fake. He was born a vampire and was born without any emotions. How could he fall in love with a human being if he was so heartless? She was too stupid to think that Lun Zhenji loved him to the core. All along, he was just lying to her, but she foolishly gave her sincerity and was willing to be deceived. Guikale looked at Yang Zizi and suddenly had evil thoughts in his heart. If Yang Zizi ceased to exist, then Lun Zhenji might fall in love with her. The Lun Zhenji should have belonged to her, but it was snatched away for a human being. Now, it's time for her to get what belongs to her back. Moreover, the pain she has suffered for such a long time is worth Yang Zizi's pain thousands of times. Of paying the price. Yang Zizi, I will take you to see Lun Zhenji. Guikale suddenly changed into a different person, extremely gentle. When Yang Zizi heard this, he instantly saw hope and ran straight to her side. Really? Come with me. Yang Zizi didn't know what kind of demon he was possessed by, but he followed Guikale without hesitation. But she didn't realize that Guikale was actually leading her to go down the cliff step by step. As long as she takes one more step forward, Yang Zizi will fall off the cliff and be shattered into pieces, and will never appear in front of Lun Zhenji again. At that time, eternity and Lun Zhenji will belong to her alone. Suddenly, a wolf's cry came from behind Guikale. When she saw the wolf, she was instantly frightened. She glanced at Yang Zizi, spread her wings unwillingly, and flew away. Yang Zizi was also frightened by the wolf's cry. He turned around and saw the wolf's eyes looking at each other. The shadow of a girl seemed to appear in the wolf's eyes. Yang Zizi suddenly lost his footing and fell off the cliff unprepared. The huge wolf jumped down without hesitation and transformed into a human, protecting Yang Zizi tightly. It is quiet in the dead of night. Yang Zizi was suddenly awakened by the howling of a wolf. She opened her eyes suddenly and saw that she was in a dilapidated house. Look at this house, it must be a few years old. No, she must have traveled through time like in the novel. Yang Zizi ran out in a hurry, and as far as the eye could see, there were a few sparsely spaced houses around. The moon is very round, and the wolf howls continuously. Where is this? Suddenly a figure dragged Yang Zizi into the house. She saw that he was a very sunny young boy. At first glance, it makes you linger and look like the first love of girls all over the world. Your injury hasn't healed yet, so you're running around. The boy looked so good looking even when he was angry. However, it is 1 point worse than Lun Zhenji. Moreover, the more you look at it, the more familiar it becomes. Ah! She remembered, he was a wolf, and she could see clearly when he fell into the cliff. Are you a wolf? Yang Zizi asked, not surprised because Lun Zhenji's bedtime story talked about wolves. The young man frowned and said with an expression of hatred, you know how to pretend to be surprised. You make me lose face. Looking at the complaining young man, Yang Zizi felt that this werewolf's personality did not match his appearance. Did you save me? Yang Zizi changed the subject and asked doubtfully. What else do you think? The young man rolled his eyes, which was quite different from his appearance. Thank you. Yang Zizi thanked him very perfunctorily, and then asked eagerly, where is this place? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 183. Chapter 183. Always thinking about the position of leader. Of course it's the wolf clan. The young man looked very proud, as if he was very proud of being a werewolf. Werewolves are very kind creatures in this world. They like to protect the weak and do good and eliminate evil. Wolf tribe. Yes, 11 Jin nodded, then approached her, smiled warmly, and said, I saved you. Isn't just a thank you too perfunctory? What do you want? How about I pledge myself to you? 11 Jin tried to seduce her. I'm sorry, the famous flower has an owner, Yang Zizi said coldly. Who is it? Let me see it so you can compare and contrast how I killed him instantly. The living habits of werewolves are quite similar to humans, so their development will synchronize with the development of humans. Yang Zizi glanced at him, ignored him, and walked straight out. 11 Jin pulled her back in a panic. Hey, what are you doing? Although we werewolves are very kind-hearted, we are extremely sensitive to our territory. Once you break into our territory, you will have to pay a price, 11 Jin explained to her anxiously. You brought me back, you are responsible for getting me back. 11 Jin rubbed his hair, feeling embarrassed secretly. You may have to wait a while. Why? Because the Wolf Clan is electing a new leader recently. My brother and I stand out from tens of thousands of werewolves in 3 days. The decisive battle between me and my brother will begin. You seem to want to be the leader. Yang Zizi held his arms and looked at him seriously. I didn't expect that someone who looks sunny and fair could have such a lofty ambition. Not bad. Yang Zizi looks up to her. Of course, I have always been thinking about the position of leader since I was a child. No, as soon as I reached the age, I signed up, 11 Jin said proudly. In 3 days, I want you to witness that I am how to defeat my brother and become the leader of the Wolf Clan. He is very confident. Yang Zizi suddenly saw a lot of blood stains flowing down his hands. You're injured. Yang Zizi anxiously grabbed his hand to check the injury, and said worriedly, did you get injured because you saved me? How is it possible? We werewolves are very powerful, so this little injury is nothing, 11 Jin said stubbornly to save face. Yang Zizi looked around and searched, but couldn't find a medicine box containing anti-inflammatory drugs or the like. That's right, he is a werewolf and there is no need for a human first aid kit. But 11 Jin was injured because of her. How could he stand idly by? She pulled off a piece of cloth from 11 Jin's clothes. Hey, what are you doing? 11 Jin was a little confused. Yang Zizi remained silent and bandaged his wound to prevent the blood from flowing further. 11 Jin lowered his head and looked at the cool and warm girl in front of him, and felt a strange feeling in his heart for no reason. This feeling was indescribable. Then I'll leave in 3 days, Yang Zizi said coldly. Suddenly, he felt hungry and said to 11 Jin, is there anything to eat? Space. Of course, 11 Jin, who was standing aside, finally jumped up and took out sashimi and other things from the refrigerator for Yang Zizi. We werewolves are similar to you humans, we will eat what you eat, so you should like this. 11 Jin handed the sashimi to Yang Zizi. Although Yang Zizi is not used to eating raw food, due to the pressure of life, he can make do with it with dipping sauce. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 184. Chapter 184. I don't need you to keep me warm even if I freeze to death. You have 3 days to choose a leader, aren't you going to make good preparations? Yang Zizi raised his eyelids and asked casually. What are you preparing for? I've been preparing for hundreds of years, not to mention I don't like to improvise, 11 Jin said confidently. Yang Zizi rolled her eyes. Since the person involved was so confident, why should she, an outsider, worry so blindly? She continued to eat and stopped talking. Hey, are you a student from Lingao? 11 Jin suddenly sat in front of her and asked doubtfully. Yang Zizi didn't even raise his head. He shook his head and said, no. Then why are you in the back mountain of Lingao? Don't you know where the danger is? Yang Zizi remained silent and continued eating, too lazy to answer his questions. She knew that she was escaping, but she could only choose to escape in order to let him go and not think about him. Seeing that Yang Zizi didn't speak, 11 Jin didn't press any further and asked, then which school are you from? Qingyizhong, Yang Zizi replied calmly. What a coincidence, I am also in King II Middle School, 11 Jin said excitedly. Yang Zizi looked confused. Why did he, a werewolf, go to a human school? Moreover, she had never seen him in school, let alone heard anyone talking about him. But I just registered my name and didn't go to school. I plan to go to school 1 month before the college entrance examination. Now that you are also in King II Middle School, I will go to school early, 11 Jin said with a smile. Yang Zizi disagreed. It was none of her business when he went to school. I've been behind on my homework for a long time. You have to teach me. 11 Jin suddenly came next to her, very close to her. Yang Zizi pushed him away. She thought she didn't use much strength, but she didn't expect that she pushed him to the ground. It was none of her business that he had to get it together. She was not an ungrateful person. Sure, although Yang Zizi's answer was a little late, it still made 11 Jin very happy. At night, both of them were sleepy, but there was only one bed in the room. 11 Jin was very hospitable and very gentlemanly and let Yang Zizi sleep on the bed. He could just lie down on the table all night. Yang Zizi was naturally not polite. When she was lying on the bed and about to close her eyes to sleep, suddenly there was a stream of heat pressing against her back. Yang Zizi stood up like an electric shock and looked straight at 11 Jin, who was smiling at her. What on earth does he want to do? What are you doing? If it hadn't been for the sake of him saving her, she would have put him in the ICU for 5 or 6 years and he would never have come out. But for the sake of his kindness to her, I had no choice but to endure it. What's more, to escape from the wolf clan, you may need this kid's help. We werewolves have a very high body temperature. I'm afraid you'll be cold, so I want to keep you warm, 11 Jin said with a smile. I don't need you to keep me warm even if I freeze to death. Yang Zizi kicked him down mercilessly. This boy looks youthful and sunny. I didn't expect that he has so many faces. 11 Jin felt aggrieved, but could not speak. The next morning, Yang Zizi was woken up by the alarm clock. When she woke up, 11 Jin was not there. Where did this kid go? Suddenly, the sound of her stomach growling made her feel hungry. Yang Zizi looked for food everywhere but couldn't find it. Why did all the food that he had eaten yesterday disappear all of a sudden? That guy 11 Jin must have been hiding him. I didn't expect him to be so petty. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 185. Chapter 185, Eat a Big Melon. Being hungry was really uncomfortable. Yang Zizi couldn't bear it anymore and was about to go out to find something to eat, completely forgetting what 11 Jin had said to her. Whatever, let's fill up our stomach first. He didn't believe it. There were houses all within a radius of 500 miles, and no one had food. But as soon as she stepped out of the house, she saw a huge wolf walking over. This wolf is really fat and seems to be eating well. Yang Zizi tried to use his invisibility skill. He wondered if the invisibility skill would disappear when Lun Chenchi was gone. She tried it, and she became transparent. When she looked in the mirror, she couldn't be seen at all. Very good. Yang Zizi went out for a walk happily. She remembered that the fat wolf came out of that room just now. There must be a lot of delicious food in his house, otherwise he wouldn't have grown so fat. She walked into the house swaggeringly, and a scent of fragrance hit her face. Sure enough, what she thought was right. Yang Zizi quickly ran to fill his stomach. If she hadn't seen 11 Jin transform from a wolf into a human with her own eyes, she would have suspected that all the people living here were ordinary people, and they were all human food. No wonder 11 Jin said that they are no different from humans, except that one can transform and the other cannot. While she was eating happily, she suddenly heard a sound. Yang Zizi was so frightened that he quickly put the food in his pocket and hid subconsciously. No, she has become invisible, no one can see her, why should she hide like a thief? She wanted to be upright. She walked up to them swaggeringly, sat down and listened to what they were chatting about. What came into the house were two stout young men. It looks like it should be a master-servant relationship, but it also feels like a friend relationship. No matter what their relationship is, let her have fun first. In 2 days, we will decide who is the leader of the wolf clan. The long-haired boy frowned, as if he was worried about something. Don't worry, the position of leader is definitely yours. Yang Zizi immediately found it interesting. No, I know my brother best. The whole clan knows that he has outstanding abilities, good character, and is loved by the clan. I lost to him in the first and second tests. The young man slowly closed his eyes and opened them again. It turns out that this ruthless-looking young man is 11 Jin's brother, and he will compete with him for the position of leader of the wolf tribe in 2 days. Hey, the battlefield is so cruel. I wonder if the two brothers will turn against each other like in the novel after the results come out. Zitting, this is a medicine that can make people feel trance-like. Even if they are werewolves, it will have a certain effect. 11 Ting's friend took out a pack of medicine from somewhere and handed it to 11 Ting. 11 Ting didn't seem to be shocked by his friend's move, but took the medicine naturally. He has always had this plan, but he just didn't want to say it himself, just to reduce the guilt in his heart. After all, he was his biological brother. Hao 11 Ting glanced at Hao gratefully. In this second stage, I will bribe my family and other friends to vote for you. Yang Zizi was shocked. He didn't expect that they would do anything to get what they wanted. No, if 11 Jin really didn't become the leader, he would definitely be sad. After all, he was so confident and had worked hard for hundreds of years. I wanted to listen to their chatter, but I didn't expect to hear such a big deal. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 186. Chapter 186. Two brothers in competition. Yang Zizi ran back to 11 Jin's house and found that he was not there yet. Where had this kid gone? She ran out to look for him, but couldn't find him anywhere. Instead, she saw Hao on the way. He actually canvassed for 11 Ting's votes with everyone he met. He said good things and gave gifts. It was very hypocritical. If the other party didn't listen to him, if it was a strong one, he would speak ill of 11 Jin and say that he was not worthy of being a leader. If he encountered someone who was relatively weak, he would directly use force. Yang Zizi was so angry that he really wanted to put him in the ICU and not be able to get out for the rest of his life, but he couldn't reveal his identity. In the wolf tribe, everyone is kind-hearted, and there are some exceptions, such as 11 Jin's brother and his brother's friends, guys with human faces and animal hearts. Yang Zizi searched for 11 Jin for a long time but could not find him. Finally, he came back the night before the selection game. Where have you been? I've been looking for you all day, and I'm scared to death. You scared me to death. I've been looking for you all day. Yang Zizi was not to be outdone. Why are you looking for me? 11 Jin really has a temper but cannot lose it. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and it was 11 Ting's voice. He must not be here to give me medicine. Hurry up and hide. 11 Jin quickly stuffed Yang Zizi into the closet. Just as he was about to close the door, Yang Zizi suddenly took his hand and told him seriously and solemnly, no matter what your brother gives you, whatever you drink, you must not eat or drink, you know. 11 Jin had no idea what this silly girl was talking about, so she closed the closet door without paying much attention. Yang Zizi was really anxious, and she didn't know if 11 Jin, that stupid dog, listened to what she said. 11 Jin opened the door for 11 Ting. I made some of your favorite dishes and brought them here to eat with you. 11 Ting walked in with 2 dishes in his hand. 11 Ting was very confused. How did this girl know that 11 Ting was here to bring him food and drink? Does he know something? Hurry, Eat it while it's hot. 11 Ting gave 11 Jin a piece of braised pork as soon as he arrived. 11 Jin returned the favor and gave him some food, but 11 Ting intercepted him and said, "You know, brother doesn't like eating these." Indeed, although they are brothers, their tastes are completely different. 11 Jin looked at the braised pork in the bowl and remembered what Yang Zizi had said to him. Yang Zizi has never met 11 Ting, why is he so guarded against him? Since the election started, 11 Ting has never been to his house, and he actually came to see him the night before the final battle. According to 11 Ting's character, he should be preparing for tomorrow's election, and it is impossible to come to his house. Here, I don't even have the heart to cook. I hope that after the election results come out tomorrow, no matter who takes the position of leader, we two brothers will be in harmony. 11 Jin suddenly changed the subject. That's natural, eat it quickly, it won't taste good when it's cold. 11 Ting urged him with a smile. 11 Jin was sure that there must be something wrong with this dish. Since it can't be avoided, let's eat it. He believes that it is impossible for his biological brother to kill him just because of his position as leader. At most, he would have taken some drug that made people drowsy. And looking at him like this, if he doesn't eat this braised pork, I'm afraid he will stay all night and refuse to leave. And now Yang Zizi is still hidden in the closet. The closet is not breathable, and she is an ordinary human being. It would be bad if she suffocated over time. 11 Jin smiled at 11 Ting and ate the braised pork. 11 Ting showed a very satisfied smile. Yang Zizi was shocked. What was this idiot doing? Was he deaf? Didn't he hear what she said not to eat anything 11 Ting gave him? End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 187. Chapter 187 Inducing Vomiting. 11 Ting watched 11 Jin eat the braised pork with satisfaction, and then left on the grounds that he had other things to do. Yang Zizi quickly jumped out of the closet and patted his back vigorously, trying to make him spit out the braised pork. Her strength was really too great. Although 11 Jin felt uncomfortable being slapped by her, he still had a big smile on his face. This woman is too rough. She doesn't know how to write the word gentle. Spit it out quickly, you idiot. Yang Zizi was extremely anxious, not only because 11 Jin said that his dream since childhood was to be the leader, but also because the wolf clan must not fall into the hands of people like 11 Ting. In hands. 11 Jin vomited and finally spit out the braised pork. Yang Zizi was overjoyed. It's okay, Yang Zizi breathed a sigh of relief. 11 Jin straightened up and looked at this woman who was very nervous and interested in him. She must have fallen in love with me. 11 Jin was secretly happy in her heart. As expected, the human girl couldn't hide her thoughts, and he guessed them right away. Yang Zizi, you are so nervous about me, do you like me? 11 Jin approached Yang Zizi and asked innocently. You are overthinking it. Didn't I tell you that I already have a wife? Yang Zizi rolled his eyes at him. Couldn't the werewolf understand human language? 11 Jin pouted. Human girls are really good at saying sarcastic things. She obviously likes him, but she still denies it seriously, and even uses a love rival to block his mouth. Is this a common problem among humans? You have an election tomorrow, why don't you go to bed early? Yang Zizi thought it was too quiet, so he casually said. 11 Jin thought wrong again, you care about me so much, and you say you don't like me. Yang Zizi was helpless. He wanted to let him sleep on this bed for one night, but he unexpectedly thought wrong. If she really let 11 Jin sleep on this bed, then he would have to think so wildly. She wants to have a puppy with him. She stopped talking and it was getting late. Yang Zizi went to bed and ignored 11 Jin. 11 Jin looked at Yang Zizi and suddenly felt aggrieved. I have to run for election tomorrow. What if I can't sleep well? His little eyes meowed at Yang Zizi from time to time. Yang Zizi was upset when he heard 11 Jin's complaint. If this kid wanted to sleep on the bed, he could just say no. Why should he act like she was occupying his bed? Think about it carefully, this is the Wolf Clan and 11 Jin's home. In this way, it seems that she has occupied 11 Jin's bed. Yang Zizi jumped up from the bed and gave him the bed to sleep on. If it weren't for the fact that he was running for office tomorrow, she would have thrown left and right hooks. I'll sleep with you, she glanced at 11 Jin with great disgust. Not to mention, his aggrieved look really looked like a little wolf dog. Where will you sleep if you sleep with me? 11 Jin's big eyes shone with a cunning light. Just when Yang Zizi was about to open his mouth to speak, 11 Jin deliberately took the lead and said, how about you sleep with me? My bed is very big. Shut your mouth, Yang Zizi shouted domineeringly. 11 Jin was a little scared and immediately calmed down. While Yang Zizi was sitting on a stool playing with her phone suddenly prompted that there was insufficient memory and asked her to clear the memory. Yang Zizi started to clean up some files and software that she didn't use frequently, and the system prompted her to delete them. At this time, she suddenly saw a video with the entire screen black. Yang Zizi was confused as to when she had taken such a video. She opened it curiously and saw, as expected, that the whole screen was black. But, there is a sound. Space. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 188. Chapter 188. The Human Girl Among the Wolves. The voice was the last time she heard the conversation between 11 Ting and Hao when she went to 11 Ting's house to find food. It turned out that when I put my phone in my pocket, I accidentally turned on the camera and recorded this video and their words. Yang Zizi didn't delete it, maybe it's still useful. It was 3 o'clock in the morning while playing with the mobile phone. Yang Zizi finally couldn't stand it any longer, so he lay down on the table and fell asleep. At this time, 11 Jin happened to wake up. He got out of bed, looked at the human girl, and couldn't help but smile. For hundreds of years, no one had ever made his heart flutter, but just because of this ordinary girl, his heart fluttered. He bent down and gently picked her up. Yang Zizi suddenly hooked his neck coquettishly and muttered, "Don't go, don't leave me." "Okay, I won't leave." 11 Jin's voice was gentle. Perhaps he heard what 11 Jin said, and Yang Zizi quickly fell asleep again. 11 Jin put her on the bed and looked at her lovingly. Early morning on the second day. Yang Zizi woke up naturally and saw 11 Jin sleeping on the table. Why hasn't this guy gone to the campaign site yet? She quickly jumped out of bed, ran to 11 Jin, and slapped him awake. 11 Jin felt aggrieved and looked up at Yang Zizi with a sleepy face. It seems like he didn't do anything wrong. Why don't you run for leader? He, an outsider, was worried for him, but he didn't seem anxious at all. "I'm waiting for you," 11 Jin said. "My most glorious moments naturally have to be witnessed by the most important people. Why are you waiting for me? You're already late." Yang Zizi was like a mother scolding her child who was about to be late for school. It's really heartbreaking. 11 Jin glanced at the time casually and said, "There's still half an hour, there's no rush." Yang Zizi also breathed a sigh of relief. 11 Jin brought Yang Zizi to the campaign site. "If you bring me out in such a fair and open manner, you won't be afraid of being seen by your tribe and disqualifying you from running for election." A few days ago, she was not allowed to go out, but today he actually took her out in person. "Don't worry, your smell is too weak for them to smell, and not everyone has seen everyone in the clan. Don't worry, they will only mistakenly think that you are also a werewolf, but they don't know that you are a werewolf at all." "Who?" 11 Jin raised his eyebrows and said. Yang Zizi suddenly wanted to beat him, which made her hold it in the room for so long. Yang Zizi felt goosebumps all over her body. When she saw werewolves sitting around her, she felt a little scared. She sat unnaturally among the wolves, a mixed bag of fish and dragons. The first game of the campaign was a test of force. Obviously 11 Jin has the upper hand. 11 Ting was astonished as to why he did not feel exhausted at all, but instead became more majestic. Had 11 Jin not deliberately let him use a few moves, the victory or defeat in the first game might have been decided in less than 10 seconds. Yang Zizi saw Hao sitting not far away, and the expression on his face made her feel very funny. This is what you bring upon yourself. In the first round, Zijin wins. After an interval of 10 minutes, the second round began. The second round is voting. Werewolves all over the country can vote online, and on-site werewolves can vote with slips of paper. Since Yang Zizi was among the wolves, she naturally had a vote, and she voted for 11 Jin without hesitation. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 189. Chapter 189 The Position of Leader. The voting is over. On-site voting, 11 Ting 115 votes, 11 Jin 116 votes, online voting, 11 Ting 1,300 votes, 11 Jin 11,600 votes in the second round, 11 Jin wins. Yang Zizi jumped up with excitement, and the tribesmen looked at her. It's over, it must have been discovered. The tribesmen who were slow to beat also jumped up and cheered. Phew, she was shocked. They were wolves after all, and their reaction was even slower than her, a human. 11 Ting's face was darker than coal. On the surface, he congratulated his brother politely, but deep down his heart was already erupting. Since 11 Jin wins both the first and second ethics, there is no need to compete in the third round. 3 days later, we will hold the canonization ceremony. 11 Jin ignored 11 Ting and walked down the stage. Look, my vote was so crucial. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Jin proudly and said. 11 Jin smiled softly, scratched her little nose, and said lovingly, it's a good thing I brought you here. Yang Zizi suddenly seemed to have thought of something, pushed him away, looked at him angrily, and warned, don't touch my nose in the future. After saying that, he turned around and left angrily. She thought she could forget him as long as she didn't think about him, but she didn't expect that as long as there was something about him, she couldn't help but think of the past with him. It is obviously fake, but I still want to keep it. 11 Jin returned to the house, walked up to her, and asked softly, what's wrong? Did you think of something unhappy? How could I be unhappy? Yang Zizi denied, trying to save his face. Of course 11 Jin saw through her and took his hand, let's go, I'll take you to have fun. Yang Zizi was pulled out by 11 Jin before he agreed. While running, 11 Jin pulled Yang Zizi onto his back and instantly transformed into a big wolf, running quickly. Yang Zizi sat on 11 Jin's back. He felt insecure at first and held onto his fur tightly. It felt good and soft. Slowly, she began to feel very safe. Enjoying the speed of the wind will really make people forget all their worries. She began to enjoy this moment of nothing. Tired, they sat on the top of the mountain. If you have anything unhappy, come to me. I will help you feel the speed of the wind, which will make you forget all your unhappiness, 11 Jin said with a smile. Yang Zizi said nothing, quietly feeling the air on the top of the mountain. Before going back, Yang Zizi asked 11 Jin when he would take her away from the wolf clan. After my canonization ceremony is completed, I will go to school with you. Let's take the college entrance examination together. Wouldn't this guy's conscience hurt when he said this? He abandoned his tribe as soon as he became the leader. Isn't that ridiculous? He is occupying the latrine and not shitting. It's very appropriate to describe him. What about your people? You are not afraid that they will destroy you? Don't worry, they have been urging me to go to school. They just went a few months early. It doesn't matter, 11 Jin said heartily. Since their tribe members are urging him to go to school, she has nothing to say. After all, she is not from the wolf tribe. Back to the wolf clan, I met some girls on the way. When they saw 11 Jin, they laughed from ear to ear. Chief, he is indeed a wolf. He has a nice smile and strong words. He is not like a little girl in a nymphomaniac state. She is soft but tough at the same time. 11 Jin nodded seriously. After leaving, I could still hear their whispers. Who is that girl beside the leader? I have never seen a girl beside the leader. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 190. Chapter 190 Pure and Sweet Blood. 11 Jin looked proud. Now do you know what his status is in this leader's heart? Yang Zizi didn't take it seriously, didn't understand at all, and didn't want to understand. 11 Jin sighed. It seemed that he was not obvious enough. In the dead of night, when everyone in the tribe was asleep, 11 Jin's house was suddenly pushed open. The man walked slowly toward 11 Jin, who was sleeping on the table, with a fierce and cruel look in his eyes. He suddenly swung a shining knife and stabbed it into 11 Jin's heart. Yang Zizi was awakened by the reflection of the knife. In the moonlight, Yang Zizi saw a familiar figure. When the man heard someone, he immediately ran out of the window. He saw clearly, it was 11 Ting. Yang Zizi quickly ran to 11 Jin to check his injuries. His heart was bleeding. He said that except for transformation and immortality, they were werewolves and humans, and a knife was enough to kill them. 11 Jin, Yang Zizi shouted worriedly. She was in panic and didn't know what to do. She wanted to save him, but she didn't know how to save him. Don't be sad, otherwise there will be no one to take you to experience the speed of the wind, 11 Jin said with a smile, using his last strength. Stop talking, I will definitely save you. 11 Jin smiled. He naturally knew that this sentence was a joke and a self-comfort. How could she, a human, save a dying person? I hope you can understand my heart, 11 Jin said. I understand, Yang Zizi nodded, but mistakenly thought that he was talking about his determination to be the leader. 11 Jin smiled with satisfaction. He finally understood. Yang Zizi suddenly remembered that Lun Chenchi had told her that her blood was pure and natural and could save people. It doesn't matter, let's try it first and then talk about it. Yang Zizi spreads his fingers. What are you doing? 11 Jin panicked. You have saved me, so of course I can't be ungrateful and refuse to save you. You. Yang Zizi blocked your mouth with his fingers. Yang Zizi's blood entered 11 Jin's body drop by drop, and Yang Zizi felt the pain of being drained. 11 Jin's wounds gradually recovered, and the knife was pushed out of the body by the new body. Yang Zizi was exhausted and fainted. Yang Zizi. When she woke up again, it was already the next day. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw 11 Jin's enlarged face. What are you doing? Yang Zizi pushed him away. I heard that artificial respiration can save people, and I want to try it. 11 Jin looked at Yang Zizi innocently and harmlessly. Let's try this on you. Yang Zizi violently kicked him away. Now that his campaign was over, he could finally use force. 11 Jin was deliberately kicked all the way out for her amusement. Yang Zizi naturally knew that he was teasing her, so he was so exaggerated. Zizi, I'm curious, why can your blood save me? This made him doubt her identity. He said that my blood is the purest blood in the world. Maybe it's because I am kind-hearted. Yang Zizi sat upright and said proudly. Indeed, when I drank her blood, I had never drank such sweet and pure blood. It's just that, doesn't the blood of ordinary people smell like blood? Why is it that her blood is pure and sweet? End of this chapter.